Hi everyone, so we're here again with Alex and we're going to be continuing with crypto. So this is episode 3. So this one we're going to talk about trading smart, not fast. Thanks for coming again, Alex.
Hi, yeah, thanks guys, you're welcome. Good to be here.
So last time, the first 2 episodes, if you've not seen them, please go back and have a look at them. The first one is breaks down the basics. What is crypto? Talks about the big players, talks about the terminology. And then the second episode, we're talking about demystifying it. So if you're confused by it, go back and listen to those episodes. Now we're going to talk about a bit more in depth about trading smart, not fast. Alex, thanks for coming again. Thanks for the previous episodes. So everybody, Alex does this for free. He's coming across just to make sure that you keep safe when you're looking, because there's nothing more annoying than getting a message out of the blue saying, come and join my crypto, and you haven't got a clue about what crypto is. You can see that it's a massive opportunity. You don't know this person well. Alex is going to give you the terminology, the phrases, the understanding, so you can make a qualified decision of whether crypto is for you. It is a phenomenal thing. It is the next revolution. So again, thanks, Alex. Let's jump into the next episode, which is episode 3, this one. So we're going to talk about trading smart, not fast.
Yeah, great. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the intro. So hopefully some of you guys listened to the last couple of weeks' episodes. If not, the difference in this week is we're going to be talking about how I teach people to trade smart, not fast. So what that means is how trading smart over fast is. So, for example, the average person that loses money, let's just forget, I don't even really like referring to scammers too often, because to be honest with you, most of the people I meet, I travel a lot, most of the people I've met, either A, they sat on the sidelines and never invested for whatever reason, they didn't understand, found it too intimidating and didn't know where to start. It was overwhelming. Or 2, they just jumped in, they didn't trade smart, they just listened to a friend or a taxi driver or whoever it was, got a tip, and tips are for gamblers, jumped in, and this is what I refer to as like trying to hit a dartboard with a blindfold on. So they've not got educated, and they've basically bought at the wrong time in the market. So you only lose when you sell. If they sold, they chose to sell at a loss. So this is what I'm talking about, okay, is trading smart, not fast. So, you know, when you get educated, you understand about market cycles, you know when to buy and you know when not to buy. So, for example, where we are right now on the 17th of June, 2023, whilst I've got a particular strategy for this time of the market, buying now would be smart, because the markets are so much, they've dropped so much from the previous all-time high, but also and therefore, so your downside risk is so much smaller compared to your upside return. But also a lot of people, because there's so much negativity on the news, we talked about this before, like understanding the narratives, because there's so much negativity on the news, most people actually listen to that, okay? So they have to learn. I try and teach people to think the opposite. So times like now are amazing for us as intelligent investors, because they bring the prices to where we want them. So this is an example of trading smart, not fast. But to bring back to the main points for this week is, it's very important to use the right exchanges, and you don't just sign up through a dodgy link that someone who you don't know has potentially approached you with. So this is where obviously where people have got scammed is normally because you can only get scammed in the following ways. Number 1, you scam yourself. So you've deceived yourself in your expectations. Now, nobody can do anything about that. So, for example, my current cryptocurrency course and system is called the 100x Crypto Accelerator. So that's quite a big, bold statement. I'm trying to teach my clients and students how you can potentially find coins with 100x potential, or sorry, how I show you how to find coins with 100x potential. They might only 50x. But what that means is 5,000%, because 50 times 100 is 5,000. So that is massive. And I actually was thinking about this yesterday. It's very easy for me to throw 50x and 100x out there and make it sound like it's nothing, but it really isn't. This is the result of 7 years of learning, through wins and losses. So, I try and teach people to find. So, for example, most of the time when I share particular coin picks with my students, if a coin is 100x, it's probably most of the time it's a fairly high risk investment, right? So you leave your money in the bank, that's no risk. but then your money's being eroded. Okay, there's no interest. So the point is high risk investments, you'd put a smaller amount of money in. So, you know, this is another example of saving smart. But basically, the main thing is if, as long as you can't really be scammed by another person. So if someone's approached you on social media, that's the first warning sign. Yeah. So I don't approach anyone. I put my posts out there and I let people respond if they're interested. That's the primary takeaway that you should think about. If someone approaches you, now also another thing, when I speak to people sometimes, and a lot of people have got this perception in their mind about, oh, they're going to be putting their money into my platform. And we don't do that either. Whilst in the past, I did consider opening my own trading platform in Cyprus, for example, or Dubai. It doesn't interest me. I don't want to do that. I actually want to trade my own money and focus on becoming a billionaire with my own money. So I teach you guys how to manage your own money, how to be an intelligent investor. And that goes hand in hand with what Gaz teaches people from a property perspective. We both love property and I love crypto as well. So for me, I teach people how to manage your own money as your own intelligent investor. So I can't scam you because I don't want your money other than for you to pay me to educate you, for example.
Yeah, exactly, mate. And it's good that you're going out there and showing that you're not really out to leverage people. And there are people out there that, like what you said, they create their own, what did you call it? Their own little
platforms
platform. Yeah.
So yeah, because so basically, and this might actually make it a lot clearer for you. So most of if you think about the word scam and just relate it back to crypto right now, a lot of these scammers are people that were probably, for example, boiler room people in the past. So they used to sell whatever they did on the telephone. God knows what, it used to be timeshares in the 80s. And the hustle will look like the actual product will change, but the actual scam's the same, right? They're people. So the Wolf of Wall Street, that's an example of a boiler room. They're expert sellers on the telephone, but now what they've done is they've basically stepped their game up. So now they've realized because crypto isn't regulated, there's a minefield of opportunity for them to continue their hustle. So if you think of it like that, if you're speaking to someone on the phone that's contacted you, well, was it a red herring? That's a warning sign. If someone sends you an email, there's all these different ways they can do it. They can send you an email, perhaps, where they've slightly tweaked the real address, because what I've started to notice now is, unbelievably, now I know I'm getting traction, Gaz, because the other day, your business partner and one of my clients, Ron, had someone message him on Facebook as me, saying that if he clicks on the link, he'd got a bonus. Now, I don't know how they've done this, and I don't even know how to ask Facebook to block the person. It would be blocking me. It showed my picture, my name, and I said, don't click on that. We'll have to get to the bottom of it. And I've been hearing, this is what I've heard about other people having happened to them for years, especially on YouTube. People I've followed on YouTube, they've got in the comments below, I don't know how they do it, they've got someone pretending to be that YouTuber saying, if you click here for XYZ. So I guess that's really the only that's how I have to leave it on scammers. Whether you refer to them as hackers or boiler room salespeople, those people are out there. So simply put, I've never been scammed in that way. And up until recently, I've never had one of my students in any way, shape or form affected. But what he did was he contacted me and said, Alex, what's this new bonus? And I said, let me have a look at it. That's nothing to do with me. Let me go onto Facebook, because I don't know how they've done that. But he would have had to have clicked on that link, and then presumably he would have had to have given over some form of card details.
Was this from your account as well?
Well, I mean, you'd have to ask him to show it to you, but basically it was a post that I don't know if it was a DM into his, but it appeared on his web page, on his Facebook page. So it's a bit like, I believe that they managed to do that the same way, through pay-per-click, where you can pay Google to put an advert and then they target people. So as soon as we contact Facebook, obviously they'll be able to get behind it. But yeah.
I think you were quite polite earlier, but don't worry about swearing. I call them bastards. So any of these bastards that come around, don't click on them. Don't click on any links. Make sure you're talking to the person direct and ask them if they've sent you this Top tip
Yeah.
from Alex.
And so, I mean, simply put, the way that I teach people is there's static. So on my online course and in the mentorship, depending on the package people take, I explain that there's only a certain kind of exchanges you use. Like back in the day when I started out in 2016, there was only two exchanges, Poloniex and Bittrex. I think Poloniex is gone, Bittrex is still here. And then Coinbase followed in 2017, very swiftly followed by Binance. So, for example, some of you are probably familiar with Binance. You probably heard about it on the news. Binance US, America and the SEC is going after it, but they've actually done nothing wrong as far as I'm aware. It's just the SEC and America are the big bullies of the world on the financial stage. So, and actually America's going after about another 50 other cryptocurrencies that have done nothing wrong. And the reason is just because cryptocurrency undermines the fractional reserve banking system, and the SEC and the Federal Reserve Bank, a lot of people don't realize, is actually a private company. There's a very, very good book I'm going to show you now, actually, on my bookcase. Let me just grab it. Here we go. This book is not an easy read at all. You can see how thick it is, right? But this book, The Creature from Jekyll Island by G. Edward Griffin, who I can't believe I met him at an Acapulco in Mexico, did not think to take my book with me because the guy's about 90. I don't know how much longer he's going to live, but I wish I'd got him to sign it. Yeah. But this book is unbelievable. I actually don't, unless you really like reading like a big book like this, I recommend you get the audio version on Audible because it's so much easier to listen to it. This book explains about the creation of the Federal Reserve Bank. And for those of you that don't know about it, it's eye-opening. It will completely change the way you look at banks forever, because basically, I try not to go off on too much of a tangent, but the Federal Reserve Bank is a private company that has to report to shareholders, and the SEC is created to serve them. When you know that, then you get it and you understand the whole thing's a business. And that's it. I mean, and what, like when whilst I'm certainly not condoning what Bernie Madoff did, when one of the reporters said to him when he came out of court, how did it feel to be like the creator of the biggest Ponzi in history? He said, are you crazy? Are you having a laugh? He said, the biggest Ponzi is right in front of you and you guys don't even know. And he was referring to the banking world, because the fractional reserve banking system is a Ponzi scheme, which is why you can never ask no one, a bank run is where if everybody said they want their money back, then the banks would collapse, right? And in 2015, I actually paid to go on a private 3-day course at a well-known investor's house in the UK. And on that meeting, amongst the many things I learned, he said that, when you go into the banks, you've got that FSCA, whatever, like your money is protected by the FCSA, financial conduct, whatever the 4-letter acronym is. If 5% of the British population was to make a claim, i.e., so they guarantee your account for something like 85 grand or whatever it is. So he was saying never, ever, ever keep more than that amount in each bank. But basically, if 5% of the British population, or the America for that matter, was to claim that entity would go bankrupt. So it's no different than the fractional reserve system it's supposed to be underwriting and insuring. The whole thing is based on, let's hope nobody ever wants to claim or pull their money out. So anyway, simply put, what I'm trying to say to you is so I'm not delusional, believe me. Yeah, if I didn't think I could achieve massive life-changing legacy wealth for my great-grandkids, I would not be interested in this. So the reason why, even now, because I keep my finger on the pulse, just recently, 2 days ago, I believe, some news broke out that BlackRock, that huge, massive American monstrous pension fund company, they've applied to the SEC for a Bitcoin ETF. So Bitcoin's not going anywhere. And that's one thing I can tell you. So simply put, even if all you did was believe that Bitcoin, and by extension of that, by the way, Ethereum, is not going anywhere, every other coin that you will ever hear me talk about or I ever buy is actually only so that I can accumulate more Bitcoin or Ethereum. So just so you know, I'm not delusional and in love with crypto. I just know that people far more intelligent and wealthier than me are all in on it.
Yeah, it's a massive opportunity. And as you mentioned in previous episodes, when you're talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum, they're the coins that once you've made money in the other coins,
I take my profits.
You put them into those which are safe, or safer, should I say.
Yeah. So in my system, I've got the foundational course, or let's say education that students go through is I take you from wherever you are to understanding from whether you're completely new to getting through to basically knowing, first of all of the pitfalls of setting your computer and your accounts up safely. Then we go through your trading psychology. So you understand how we can self-sabotage because of greed, euphoria, fear, overconfidence, and all of those elements of trading psychology. But I make it very easy, actually. It sounds complicated, but it's not. One video lesson explains it very easily. Then we go through setting up your trade plan, allocating money in actually correct amounts. So you work out financial amounts, percentages, and then so you're risking risk capital. And then after that, you go through what we're talking about in this lesson, which is basically setting up your accounts with the correct. So I'll say, these are the exchanges I use and why. And then because certain strategies I've got, such as automatically buying every month, so I don't think about it, because one of the lessons I learned from Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, in all of his books I've read, is you basically want to make your investing an expense, so that every month my set investments just go out automatically like a bill. Okay, so there's a strategy within my course, depending on where people join. Right now, one of my best picks, it's still relevant. So anybody that joins in the next month, for example, that particular strategy would still be relevant. But if someone joined in a year, probably we're going to be halfway through the bull market and that particular strategy won't be. But so different, not every coin is available on every exchange. So some coin like Binance is the #1 exchange. Binance has got most coins, but not every coin. And then there's, other exchanges that, for example, you might get a particular coin is only available on that exchange. So I teach people things about that. Then we talk about how you actually do your research, how I research coins and the people that I listen to in particular. And basically, especially during the bull run, you want to be careful because you can take in too much noise. So you're probably aware, Gaz, people like some of the best investors and wealthiest people on the planet, why they're so wealthy is because they're very, very good at focusing and shutting out the noise. So this is something that I'm learning to improve on. And you only strategically learn on, one particular thing at a time. So when the bull market returns, it's actually this is where I say to my students now, be thankful for this stillness and silence you've got and the ability to just methodically crack on with your plan, because it's really easy to stick to the plan in the bear market. It can just be a bit boring because you get the occasional rally, then you get this sell-off where there's like bloodshed, all the coins are in the red. But I'm like, be thankful for these days, because when the bull market comes, and every single day you're seeing your portfolio has gone from red, you're seeing green, green, green. And believe it or not, you look at a coin and you might be 500% up, 1,000% up, 1,200% up. And it's knowing how to take profits and when, depending on your exit strategy, which of course you work out when we talk about trade plans. But it's actually very difficult when you're making so much money. That can actually bring its own set of problems, because you get, in younger people in particular, you get overconfidence where they then start to get euphoric and they think it's never going to end. And this is where it brings a whole host of other problems. So we cover these kind of things as well, how you handle it.
And I think that sometimes can add to why people are so fearful of this, because I've seen people in the past that said, I've got $250,000, and then it's gone down to 50,000. Their initial investment was only 10,000. So they're still up by 40 grand, but because they went up to 250,000, and then people hear the losses from 250,000 to 50,000, which is 200,000 pounds, they forget that this guy only put 10,000 pounds in.
Yeah, and the reason why I believe that I'm where I'm supposed to be now is because when I first started trading, I was teaching myself, I was still learning. And for anybody in the game in 2017, which was known as the ICO craze, 2017 was when a lot of the coins that are out now were launched, and they launched on the Ethereum blockchain, because Ethereum is actually a smart contract blockchain that allows you to basically build anything. Pretty much any cryptocurrency can be built on Ethereum. So simply put, the reason why it claimed the number 2 space is because everybody was building on the Ethereum blockchain. So most of the coins that are out now have been built on Ethereum. And what happened is it was just absolutely crazy. You would jump into an ICO, we're all making so much money, and this is the thing, everyone's a genius in a bull market. And I didn't realize that then, because I was thinking, oh, okay, all this time and studying I've done beforehand, all the books I've read, all my Forex education, that's the reason why I'm now so good at this. And if I'm brutally honest with you, when the bull market's here, you could just close your eyes, look away, throw a dart at the dartboard, and you're going to, hit a winning coin. So the difference is keeping the money, compounding it, and then growing it. So this is why I'm saying that there's a whole host of things that I teach people depending on your exit strategy. So, for example, some people just if someone wants to 10x their money and buy a house, that is so much easier than, say, someone like me that's extremely aggressive and wants hundreds of millions. So I've got a different exit strategy. And then obviously for the students that have done the foundational course, if they want to then go on to the advanced courses, that will teach you, well, okay, now I've shown you how you find the 100x coins, but then what do you do when you take your profits out and you've made that 100x? There's another strategy or 2 strategies behind that. So we cover that, but that's not something you can learn as a beginner. Some people can, someone like yourself, Gaz, and other people out there that are, engineers, and they've got that kind of mind frame and ability to take on multiple things at once and systemize it, can do. There are humans out there that can, but you still have to go through the process of, like anything. Okay, I've got that down. And again, it comes down to time. Someone that's studying 1 hour a day is not going to learn as quickly as someone that's full time on it, because some people have got different monetary amounts. They can quit their job or they're already self-employed. So, but yeah, my advice is basically people just need to be patient, get in the game, and let the market come to them. Like right now, you're laughing because if you get in now and you get educated, the market's coming to you. So there was coins that we were in. I've told my students, take profits, come out. Even though those coins were 200 to 500x coins long term, you still got the macros, the mini cycles within the big macro picture. So now they're dropping back into our entry target, because I've learned, because 2017 I didn't. I was still learning, and when I should have came out at the top of the market at the end of 2017, and I remember one of my mentors said to me, right, take your money out, I'm going into cash and I'm buying silver and gold. And I was so caught up in the euphoric bubble, I was like, well, no, let me just get a bit more. And then the market started to drop off. So, I've made a lot of mistakes, which is why I'm in the position I'm in now, to tell people, listen to me and, learn from my mistakes as well as from my successes.
Can you see cycles then within crypto?
Yeah, because there's a famous saying, like in technical analysis, there's all these sayings, like the ball goes up the stair, the bear jumps out the window. And then you've got like, show me the charts and I'll tell you the news. So ironically, because I'm a member of so many different groups across the world where I get a lot of my intel from, sometimes there's a group that I've been in for years, but I don't even really follow it anymore. But once in a while, an alert will come up on Telegram. I'll click on it, and here's an example of that. So they said some news came out last year about XRP, and everyone was going long. I looked at the charts and I was like, no, I'm shorting that, because it says, show me the charts and I'll tell you the news, because buy the rumor, sell the news. So you want to buy the rumor, but when the news breaks, the charts will go up massively and then you short it. So that's an example of it. So look, don't get me wrong, I'm not, but this is something that, again, I've learned from other mentors. It's nothing new, but it's things like that. The market does move in cycles, and the charts will tell you when to buy and sell, which is why, for me, I cannot understand why anybody could think they could invest in cryptocurrency without learning some of the basics of technical analysis.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's all about technical analysis and understanding it. And like what you said, it's keeping people safe. So thank you. These are nuggets of information that are going to keep people, when they're considering this, it'll help them make that educated decision, which I mentioned earlier. But also, it'll stop the scammers coming, the bastards that I mentioned earlier. So when they come along and you start talking the talk, it's going to put them off, and they're going to step back and think, I'm at my depth here, and they'll go away.
Yeah,
But it's
they're
good.
out there. It's the same as like you get, I'm sure you see this all the time. Anybody that's on Facebook, you get friended, like you'll get friend requests. And the second I look at, the first thing you do is look at the profile. Now, for me, because of my business, I'm inundated with, I help coaches 100x and scale their business to 2. So it's like, they're not scammers, but what they are is they're people, they're only friending you because they got a pitch. Now, I respect that because I'm in the world of sales, but I'm okay now. I've got my system. I'm getting on with it. So the second I see that friend request, I just don't approve it. I delete it. So I think it's just what it is that once you get educated, and it doesn't have to be with me, you can, if you want to go and learn yourself, you can go online and go on YouTube, and there's hours and hours and hours of free content, but you've obviously got to sift through, which is what I did in 2016, 2017. And it took me like 5 years, but I was, to get of learning, listen non-stop. I wasted a lot of time, whether people choose to believe it or not. What I'm saying is that my online course is 5 modules and 50 lessons, but it distills 7 years of experience down into one quick, easy, sequential system that walks you through what to do, what not to do. And it makes it very easy. And just like anything, right? When you have a driving lesson, they tell you what to do, what not to do, so you don't get killed when you jump behind the wheel.
Exactly. It's the levels of learning, isn't it? So unconscious, incompetent. You don't know how.
Yeah.
And you become conscious. This is happening, but you're incompetent. So that's where you
and I'm also
want to do this, but I don't know how to do it. And then
I'm also always learning. So, for example, I missed some of the NFT trends last bull market in 2021, 2020. I didn't like it. I didn't trust it. And because of that, I missed it. But what I've realized is there's other ways so with narratives and trends, you can't ignore them. So basically what I'm saying is if I don't understand something, I'll go and find an expert I know somewhere. And if he's got a product, I'll pay for it so that I can learn. Okay, right. Because I don't want to be an expert on NFTs, but I know, for example, that it's a narrative that when the bull market returns, it will pump, just like gaming is. So what I'm saying is we all pay in one way or another. You pay in your mistakes. So you either don't get educated, you jump in the market with no education, you could be lucky and hit a home run, or you're going to pay because of your ignorance, or you pay for someone to teach you how to do it. So ultimately everybody pays, right? There's no knowledge is really free, I guess is what I'm saying.
No, exactly. You're going to pay. You're going to pay either way. And I think on that last little bit, just to wrap it up. So this is the end of episode 3. Appreciative of Alex's time again. He come and done this for free. He's actually giving you nuggets which are in his training course. So go and have a look at Alex. He gives some free stuff out on his Facebook and on social media, which is really good advice, actually. Really, really good advice. But make sure that you pay the right time. Don't pay by mistakes and lose thousands. If you're considering this, go to the right people and start paying the right people to get educated. Thanks again, Alex, for doing that.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
No problem. We've got episode 4 coming along, haven't we? Which is
Trade like the pros.
Yeah, which is good. It's getting meaty now. It's getting meaty, and I appreciate it. But Alex, as you've done this for free again, please give yourself a massive plug. Let's get you some traffic over to you.
Yeah, thanks. So obviously you can find me on Instagram at The Focused Mentor. Same for Facebook. If you click on there's a link in Gaz's description. If anybody actually wants to learn about my courses or wants to jump on a call with me, there's a link in Gaz's description which will take you to my landing page where you can basically learn how we work, and then you can make an appointment, jump on a Zoom call with me. If you want to have a look at my Instagram at The Focus Mentor, Facebook at The Focus Mentor, the same. And if you go to, I've also got a private cryptocurrency Facebook group you can join. which is called the 100x Crypto Accelerator. But if you find me on the Focus Mentor or on Instagram, you can get all of my details from there, or just jump on a call by clicking on the link or scan the QR code in the comments in the description of this podcast.
And if you're like me, engineer, I like to understand things before I jump in. And so I go onto the Facebook group, and there is some brilliant content on there. So jump on there, let's have a look, and let's get you, if you're considering crypto, let's get you in the right way. And this is the next revolution. Well, it's already there. It's already here. It's a big revolution. Thanks again, Alex. Speak to you again soon, and we'll get part 4 done. Thanks very much.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Cheers. Thanks for the time, mate. Speak to you soon. Right. Yeah. So, Gaz, thanks very much for having me on your podcast. If any of your listeners would like to know more about doing one of my courses and learning about my mentorship packages, if they obviously use the QR code, okay, scan the QR code, that will take them to my video sales letter, where when they finish watching that, they can jump on a strategy call with me. Just make sure that you use the code GAZ100X and tell me that when we talk, so that I know that you basically came through Gaz's podcast. And I will give anybody that announces that code that signs up with me 10% off my mentorship course, and I'll give an additional free 1 hour one-to-one Zoom session. Okay, so use the code GAZ100X. Okay, thanks for your time. All the best.